There's nothing quite like improvised music and jazz specifically for getting that real-time self-expression, that exploration of music and kind of a feeling as well.
I present a song, I can take it many different ways and just explore. And I felt when I studied jazz, when I was looking at jazz, that's what a lot of the players did. They took what they had and just went different ways with their music every single night, you know, and that's the most lovely thing about jazz, is because you don't know where you're going, but you're gonna enjoy the journey while you're going.
Jazz it doesn't ask too much of you. It doesn't ask for you to dress a certain way or dance a certain way or feel a certain way. It just kind of puts you at ease. A lot of it is instrumental, so you don't have to remember any lines or anything. It's just it's like an easy relationship listening to a jazz song.
I see people, I feel their energy, and that actually changes what I play in real time. It's a flow state is what they call it, right? So you're kind of in the state where time doesn't really matter. You're kind of just wrapped up in the music.
It's often said that musicians can play just for themselves without an audience and have a ton of fun. We can have a great time just playing music. You know, that's why rehearsals are sometimes just as fun as the gig. But when you have an audience that's really attentive and listening, and they're kind of taking that creative ride with you, the risk-taking, they're there to watch and witness it, it just makes it more exciting and more fun.
It's dismal for a world-class city like Toronto, Canada. There's maybe less than 5 music venues that people can think of, and it's just sad, because what gives this city its vibe and its mood and its texture, it's not condos, it's not traffic, it's not big corporate restaurants, and it's small family restaurants, it's the small barbershops, it's small fashion shops, it's small live music venues. What I look for when I go to visit a city outside of Toronto, it's what people look for. I think it's what people remember the most when they visit a city.
My dad says, he claims that I was born to be a drummer based on beating pots and pans and being a noisy kid. And then when I was 12, he started teaching me. My aunts and uncles would tell me the same things. Oh, you come over to the house, you'd be such a rack, you're banging on everything. I just grew up around music and drums. I had a clear-cut decision made. I knew I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life, and I've been doing it for like 50 years since. See, in the jazz clubs, there's less of a formula. I mean, most pop music is now created by one person with their computer and a keyboard. And, I listen to the music my daughter listens to, and she's really into like a lot of stuff like that. And I try to like it, and I just can't. I just go, there's nothing here. Like drum machines, they don't interest me. I want to hear live musicians interact with live music. I want to hear a band like I grew up listening to Stevie Wonder and Earth, Wind & Fire, because that music made me want to dance. Like I would hear it and go, it moves me physically. I'm so excited by it.
Music live it's very different than listening to it recorded or watching it on your TV. It connects with people in a way that few other artistic experiences do. People are incredibly moved by live music and performance. And the ability to come in and sit and be in the same room in an intimate space like this and enjoy and be part of a performance. For the artists, the audience are a key part of the performance as well. It's an experience that's unlike any other. And despite all the troubles we've had over the years, nothing will ever replace that. You can't replace that experience with something that is simulated or recorded, and you never will be able to.
If we knew the secret to how to get people more into jazz clubs, we would all be millionaires. Jazz and classical music, they occupy about 2% each of the world music market. It's very small. It's not easy.
I feel happy because I'm the one that's creating the space to make sure that it's living on. Motivation comes from if you love what you do. Instead of complaining about that there's lack of live music venue in Toronto, I wanted to be part of the solution. Poetry will be that space that people can say, hey, they played here and they wrote music and they had fun. And
we don't have as many venues, especially in terms of jazz. They've been slowly dying off. So poetry is kind of like one of those rare places that are still standing, that are really honoring the art form. It's small, it's tiny, it's intimate. Like people are sitting right up close to me. I'm not on some big stage, removed. I'm not hearing my sound getting reflected through monitors. It's like you're right there. You're close to the audience. And poetry's just always kind of had this very like frenetic energy.
there's this misconception that jazz music is for grandma and granddad. But Miles Davis and Coltrane, Nina Simone, and you know, Amy Winehouse, all these people, they were young when they were writing music and writing poetry and cutting records and traveling the world. And once the kids get to identify with that, they start coming back into spaces like this some more, and they realize, hey, it's hip and it's cool. I'm slowly getting a lot of younger people in because the 40-year-old or the 50-year-old will bring their kids for a show, and then the kids will start coming on their own, which is kind of interesting. Or the kids will bring their parents, and then I'll see the parents coming on their own. It's a kind of cool dynamic to see it happen every night. For a city like Toronto, with so many millions of people that live here from all over the world, every street should have a live music venue, and it should be policy.
People want to go and dance and party and have a good time. And I think maybe music is more of a listening thing. It's less visual. There's no dancers. There's no choreography. No people jumping around the stage. It's a listening thing. You're using your ears more. And let's face it, society's moving away from listening. It's a lot of components to make it work, not just the music. You know, the food, the drinks, the cover charges, hiring people, staff, all that stuff. There's a lot of things that go into it that make it a challenge. So when it works, it means that whoever's running the club is obviously doing a really good job. My neighbor jokes, you know, when I retired from teaching, he's like, retire? You don't even work. He says playing music is fun. He doesn't know quite how hard it is to dedicate your whole life to something. No one retires from music. It retires you. Either you get too old, or you know, there's no one to hire you, or all your friends are dead. Terry Clark, a drummer here, he's got a great T-shirt that says, "All my friends are dead," because he's 80 playing jazz still, but a lot of his friends aren't here anymore. It's just kind of a dark sense of humor that he has. It's kind of funny, you know. The passion, I think, lives with all of us, because we love it so much. Why would we want to stop? And especially the older you get, you recognize that you're on the tail end of your life. You've got a shorter span of time to do it, so you in fact love it even more. Like, I love drumming probably more now than I did when I first started, and I loved it when I first started. The passion never leaves you, I don't think.